Hi, I'm Maurizio Bevilacqua, the mayor of the city of Vaughan. Well, it's really an embarrassment of riches to have 105 different languages spoken in the city of Vaughan, but we find that diversity is actually a strength. It gives us a global perspective on many issues that the city faces. It's also very important, obviously, to bring all these great resources into a common place where we can, in fact, achieve our full potential. And I do think that the strength of the diversity comes down to, from a business perspective, it comes down to understanding the many cultures that are part and parcel of the global village, both in its economic, social, cultural, and political expression. And so what I find is that the challenge is actually bringing as many people as possible together. But I must say that there's a willingness in the city of Vaughan, because of social, cultural, political, and economic reasons, there's a willingness to join. There's, you come to various gatherings and you will see people that represent various communities. And the reason why that is important is because you're maximizing the human resources potential of the city. I think that a city, in order to achieve its full potential, the people that live within that city must achieve their full potential. And so it's a positive element of our city to have a population of over 335,000 people from all over the world that want to contribute. And this is the spirit that exists in the city of Vaughan. And this is the reason why we've been extremely successful. At the end of the day, infrastructure matters, good governance matters, all these things matters in city building. But let's face it, it's people that create the city. It is the aggregate of human experiences, the interactions that bring about positive change in the development of a city. Well, look at the bloodline I come from. I mean, look at the history of our community and the history of Italy. Look at the great contribution that the Italian community worldwide has made. And so I always say I come from, a place that created individuals and corporations and ways of thinking that is truly extraordinary. I happen to believe that Italians have contributed to the betterment of the world in different areas, from governance to banking to design to art to culture, even to faith-based organizations. You name it, the Italian history is rich, very rich. And I think it's important to understand that at the end of the day, I am the embodiment as a leader of my experiences. And having been born in Italy, and I've been raised until the age of 10, I have kept abreast of what is going on in Italy. But also, I'm a product of that experience, and I think that should not be underestimated. I think that as a leader in a multicultural setting like the city of Vaughan, and in a multicultural setting like this country, Canada, and indeed even our province, it's very important to have at leadership positions people that bring a different perspective, and a perspective that really feeds the creative and innovative spirit of a city. And so being a product of that experience has certainly been very helpful to me in my years in Ottawa, when I was for 22 years member of parliament, a cabinet minister, chair of the finance committee. These were all new experiences for the Italian community. But at the end of the day, I do think that my formation is very much rooted in my Italianità. Well, I think the Italian community has evolved in a magnificent way. I mean, we've made not only the quantitative change in the sense of economic wealth and what have you, but we've also made a change in the qualitative side. There is a refinement to being Italian. The Italian community here in the city of Vaughan is very present. You look at institutions now like the Cortellucci Vaughan Hospital. This is a project that was very dear to me. It was very important for me to get a hospital for my city, as it was to develop a downtown core and to bring a subway to the city, as it was to open up a 900-acre park that is bigger than New York's Central Park. These are all important elements. And you look at also bringing the first university in York region, namely Niagara University. That happened during my years as mayor as well. And Italians were very much, Italian Canadians were very much part of that. You look at the largest contributions made to the Mackenzie Health, they come from the Italian community. You know, as you know, I chair a $250 million campaign, but the Italian community was very present there. And you look at places like Hospice Vaughan, you know, and people need help at the very end of their lives. Who stepped up was once again the Italian community. So the Italian community has evolved. The Italian community is much wealthier than it was before, and they did it through hard work. I mean, it didn't come easy. There was no easy road, trust me, for the Italian community historically here in Canada. We've had to work our way up. We've had to earn our stripes. But one thing that is very fascinating about the Italian community, it's a spirit of generosity. It's great ability to give back to the community. You know, I'm very proud of that contribution because I really do believe that we represent the very best of what Canadian citizenship was all about. We're hardworking. We give of ourselves in a very selfless way. And I think that we are rooted in the higher frequencies of life when you look at its essential core, and that is love, compassion, understanding, and being there for each other and one another. So I have a very positive view of the Italian Canadian community and all that it's done. Well, there are many projects that, on a personal level, you know, I must say that, you know, in 1988, when I was first elected at the age of 28, although it was about my election, it was really a project for our community to make sure that we can break through barriers, that, you know, an individual came here at the age of 10 can 18 years later be sitting in the House of Commons. It's not about me. What I'm saying is it's about our ability as a community to gather together, support people to bring about positive change. And of course, my 5 years as chair of the Finance Committee in Ottawa were excellent years. You know, I was challenged in 2010 and bring a subway to the city, build a $1.8 billion hospital, first smart technology hospital in the country, bring a university, Niagara University, to our city, develop a downtown core that is at 267% projected growth. And to also give of myself in areas like, you know, chairing a $250 million campaign and other initiatives. So all in as mayor, I've been in a position to lead fundraising activities to the tune of $300 million, where the Italian Canadian community is very, very present. So, you know, these are great projects. You don't live a balanced life when you're the mayor of one of the fastest growing communities in the country and in North America. And I'll tell you why that is because nothing really gets done unless you're into it 24/7. You got to be all in, and you've got to give yourself yourself in a way that is totally focused on the job at hand. So you have to have laser beam focus to achieve this type of success. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things I would say, and if I can just take a little bit of time, you got to understand something about humanity. Humanity, every human being that you run across has three major objectives. They want something to do, someone to love, or a cause to love, or something to hope for. So every time you have a person in front of you, that's exactly what they're about. Then I've narrowed it down to two things. It comes down to value added and self-respect. Value added is the following. You get up every morning and you need to add value to your own personal life, to your family's life, to the community, to the country, to the world. So value added to me is really what drives me. So your presence on earth has to be felt. You cannot simply stand by and watch the world around you. You were put on earth to be an active participant and to bring about a contribution that affects other people's lives. Is that everything that you do, don't forget yourself. You have to respect yourself in every which way. And I think that if you live a life where you're adding value and within that you're also respecting yourself, then I think you have a recipe and you have the master key to success that you want to make a difference. And so in other words, at the end of the day, when we all sit on that rocking chair, reflecting and contemplating about our contribution in life, I hope that everybody puts themselves in a position to be happy with the fact that they inhabited this earth, that they've made their contribution. It doesn't matter how big or small, but usually, the size of your contribution is related to the size of your commitment. You cannot be a part-time mayor, you cannot be a part-time prime minister or part-time doctor, or for that matter, part-time anything and excel at it. It just doesn't happen. And anybody that's selling that type of proposition is simply not being honest. The world's greatest athletes are usually the people that are training the most. The world's greatest business people are probably losing sleep at night trying to advance their business and garnering a greater share of the world market. So this is the philosophy that I always push forward, because I do think that sometimes people want an easy answer or an easy way or shortcuts to get to their ultimate goal. And I always say that, success comes before work only in the dictionary. I would say positive. Positive because I have seen what can be achieved through cooperation, whether, was early on in my mandate, the trip to Italy to create contacts and enhance trade and greater collaboration. I can also tell you that I keep an eye on ICCO functions. I keep an eye from afar, and sometimes I participate, and I'm fully cognizant of the great contribution they are making. I mean, together we've worked to attract businesses in our community, directly and indirectly, and in a greater awareness of the great potential of the Italian community itself. And as you know, we're very good at creating partnerships within our community, but also beyond our community, which I think speaks to the mature sense of business acumen that the Italian Canadian community possesses as well. So I do think that my relationship with ICCO has been an excellent one, because I think we understand each other, and we're also driven by the same values, principles, and beliefs. And more importantly, our actions are aligned with our values, principles, and beliefs. And that is extremely important in a genuine and authentic relationship.